Hey, welcome back to Always Learning. What are we doing today? Well, today I'm going to show you how to make flagstone steps. I'm going to show you how to cut or chip flagstone. I'm going to show you how to lay basically a patio. I'm going to show you all those things. You're going to need a few things before you get started. You're going to need some knee pads because you're going to be on your knees a lot. You're going to need some gloves because your stone's rough. You're going to need some kind of protective eyewear. You're going to need a mason hammer and possibly a chisel. You can also get for your grinder, you can get a diamond cutting stone to kind of cut it and shape it. But you're basically laying out a jigsaw puzzle, and I'm going to show you how to do it. What makes the mason hammer so tool is on the back, it's got this chisel kind of part. So you just take the stone in your hand and basically chip it. Now the key is you want to do inch by inch. It's a cinch. Mile by a mile, it'll take away your smile. So if you try to take off too much, you're going to crack the stone. You just want to slowly chip away and form it to fit that puzzle piece. All right, so let's talk about the anatomy of a flagstone walkway. And so right here, you can either have your just dirt edging, or you can have that green metal or brown metal landscaping edging. That's what I put in all along here, and just ran it and then brought dirt up to it, and the grass grew through it anyway, or grew up over it. You're gonna have your chat, usually about 4 layers, and then a little bit layer of sand, maybe an inch. I kind of found that if I had to do it over again, I would just go with chat, and then to fill in your cracks, you're gonna go with the polymer sand, which will kind of, you gotta be careful with it because it'll actually adhere to the stone. So once you get it in, you can see here, it just looks like, but if I clean that off with a brush, it actually looks like a broom. It'll look pretty good. But I just wanted it where it wouldn't move as much and wouldn't wash out, and that's what it kind of does. Anyway, then you just kind of lay your stones. If you were laying this and you started laying this side, then you would come in and just try to find a stone that you could shape that would fit that area, and then maybe 2 or 3 stones would fit that area, and then you just keep going. But if you just start at one end and you work your way to the other, that's all it really is just kind of putting together a puzzle. And I was kind of anal retentive when I first started about trying to get them really tight, but it really doesn't matter. If you've got a fairly sized gap, like there and there, it all works out. But it's just a nice kind of whimsical surface that it's not the best to walk on. I mean, the stones don't move, but it's uneven. So if you're wanting more of a kid-friendly or elderly friendly surface, this probably wouldn't be it. I would go with like a stamped concrete. But so we've got this patio, we've got a walkway that leads to another walkway, and we're basically putting in a pool. So we're going to end the walkway here. This is all going to be concrete going forward. The pool is going to be out here. We're ripping up that flagstone, and that's going to be concrete too. And then the concrete will go around the steps coming down the deck. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to redo my steps just to make them solid. I'm going to try to take these bigger pieces and just redo the steps. Now when you have a slope like this, you can do it a couple ways. The main thing is you want a nice, comfortable walking. So you'll want to pace out the steps. So when you step on the step, you want to make sure that you can take 2 strides before you go up to your next step. So if it's a shorter step, like this one, then I'm only going to be able to take 1 step onto it, then the next step, my stride length, and then step up. So you want a nice, comfortable. So all you're doing is as the slope goes up, you just keep building it flat until you feel like you're able to make a rise. So you either want to go one stride or 2 strides or 1 step and then the next step. So if you start at the bottom and slowly lay it out the way you want it. So this step, there's 2 strides, then 1 stride, then 2 strides, then 1 stride, then 1 stride, and then you're up on a walkway to the last step. So that's kind of how I did it. But if you start at the bottom and work your way up, it's going to go a lot faster and a lot easier. So when you're building your foundation, you're going to want either stone under here and then come back maybe 4 to 6 inches and start your next layer of stone where you stack it on top because you're going to dry stack it. Or if there's nothing here, you want to put a layer of chat, tap it down, and then set your stones so they're all kind of level, and then work your way up so this is level. And then once you get your kind of your retaining wall built with your front piece, then you're going to backfill this area here all with chat and get it all kind of level, and then just start placing your stones on top. And then you'll come back in when you're all done and those are all flat, and you'll fill it with polymeric sand and wet it down. That should solidify and hold them in place. You'll also need a rubber mallet. Tape measure is good if you want to kind of measure a hole and then walk around and try to find a stone that kind of fits that puzzle and throw it in there, so you're not shaping as much. You're mostly putting down and then filling in. That's kind of how I did, and that's kind of how I'm going to do it now. I'm going to pry up some of these bigger rocks, and unfortunately when I do that, I may unsettle this first cut of stone that's stacked on. I'm probably going to need 2 people, Miles and Cody, and I lifted this one in place from the pallet. And Cody, also known as Bear, was only maybe 3/4 of a bear then, so it took 3 of us to lift it. So there's no way, even though I'm strong like bull, that I'll be able to lift this myself. So I'm probably gonna have to wait on this one. So I'll probably move up to the next one, and what I'm gonna do there, I may have to kind of reconstruct it again, but I'm looking for, that actually looks pretty good. It's got some pretty big rocks in it. I may come back where there's little rocks in here and fill that in with a bigger piece. And then you can see here, this has a massive stone here, so I'm going to leave it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure, and I'm going to try to find a stone to fill in this area here. So I'll just measure it and then walk around, find one, and bring it back up here and set it down. So to replace these stones here, you can see you kind of pull these back. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to measure this. I'm going to say, okay, that's 18 roughly, and it's 18, and it is 30. So if I could find or chisel down an 18 by 30, that'd be perfect. So I found this guy. He's roughly 18 by 19 by like 41. So he's a little big, but I think I can make him work. So this is the guy I'm going to work with. So you just want to come in, get under him, pry him out of there, get him loose. And then once you kind of get, you really need 2 of these so they don't smash your fingers. That up, get my mason hammer underneath there and try to lift this baby up. You can see it's pretty uniform, but I'm going to take this and then I'm going to chip it off. I can chip it here if I wanted to. I'll kind of show you how to do it with this mason hammer. Let's say you don't want this area here. You can draw your line that you want and then simply shape it. So here it is laying over the other one. So I'm going to simply start shaping it to fit in that hole. Like I said, you can get a grinder with a diamond blade and do some cutting. Probably on those bigger it might be easier, but I'm going to try this at first. Like I said, just want to take small chunks off. You'll have a lot left over, it's all right. I don't know what I'm going to do with this anyway, the leftovers. Try taking off too big a chunk, so back it down a little bit. What happens. So now I'm going to have to basically slide it forward, which is fine. I got room to play with. And then I have a gap here, which I don't like, but all right, so I got the front shaped with the hammer the kind of way I want it, and I'm trying to cut this here, and it's just not going. So I'm going to cheat and use that diamond blade on the grinder. We'll see how it goes. Make sure you wear all protection when you're grinding. I mean, I know a lot of people don't. I went and put the guard on because it's traveling a high rate of speed and rocks are going to be flying everywhere. So safety up. We're just gonna, I tried to take it with the hammer, it just wasn't. I just want to take this thin little line right here to kind of go around that, this rock here. Probably should get the handle too, but I don't have it. So I'm just gonna try to take a little bit. Right along that line. Take that there. I lost a little edge there, but if you want to clean it up, I can do it with the hammer. There we go. As you can see now how it kind of comes back here. Now I just got to come back and take this back part kind of off, and it should just fit right in there. Got a little bit of a gap there, but I could poly sand that. So when I come to about here, I'll lift it up so we can see underneath it. But either way, that's what you're doing. You're just shaping that to fit that hole, whether you're redoing something or doing something new. You're just shaping everything to fit this hole. So like I said, I'm gonna come back here, come across probably here, make it straight. Same thing if you had a hole here in your landscaping when you're building it. You can see here I got sand on top of the chat. It kind of mixes together, but if I had to do it again, I would simply just go chat and not mess with the sand. So another method you can do is, so I want to cut it here. I scored it with the diamond blade. I mean, you could kind of score it with something else. You lift the stone up and you slide a 2x4 or a piece of, this is a steel bar, hollow. You put that kind of right near where you want to break, where it's scored. It's kind of like cutting glass, okay? And then you should just tap kind of lightly then boom, comes off nice and cut. See how this is sandstone is? Sometimes this level will separate from this one, but as you can see here now, it is, as you can see now, it's ready to go back here, and then I'll have like a little bit of gap. I'll probably trim that corner off just a hair, trim that corner up here so that there's a little bit of gap for the sand. And that is it. That one's ready to go in. All right, so now I got the stone over here. You can see this is that sand, kind of just as you spray it, it hardens, kind of it's loose so it'll crack and move. This is concrete. This is where I'm putting it. So I'm gonna remove all this stone. I cemented these, so these are together, but you can see here, I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna stack some stone. This is all backfill in here, so wherever you stack it, you'll backfill against it and put your stone on top. So all these are coming out. Might use that for the corner. I kind of messed up off camera. Just trying to get cute. Ripped a piece. Just get out all that other stuff. You can see it's in here pretty well with that polymer sand. Okay, it's all uneven, so you're gonna have to kind of get it even again. You see this chat in here? There's other stones that I've used to stack, fill in gaps just to make it more solid. So anyway, I will start stacking some stone here. See what I need. Probably just lay the big one in there and see how flat I am in the back, and then fill it in the front. That's what you kind of do. You just kind of put it in there. So I'll put it in there, and you can see, and then I'll start stacking rock around it. It's not bad. It's a little high. It's good here. You can get a level. Sometimes you need to just come in and raise this other one, but what I'll do is probably take some of it back here, make it all level back there, make it high here. I'll take that out. Get this closer. As you can see here, once I get it up high here, it'll lower the back too. So actually, if I can get the back here up high, I'm perfect here. I'm a little high here. It's never gonna be perfect. It's natural stone. Sand will kind of fill that in. I'll take this off over here, and it should be about perfect. Stack a couple dry stones in front to make a wall up here underneath, and like I said, it should be ready to go. Okay, so you always want to check to make sure you're level, at least across most of it. You know, you're not always going to be in the bubble, but so now I'm going to come in, I'm going to measure. This is 18 inches across. I actually found a stone, one that I took out, which is 19 inches across. So just want to lay it down, see if it slides in. It's almost perfect. I'm probably just going to need, it had a rock attached to it, so I need to break it off, find another one to slide underneath there, and then I think I'm going to be good. I just need to remove that chat on the back side so it'll slide all the way in there. So I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so I've rolled the big stone out of the way, and then I'm going to make room. Come in here and just kind of scoop and see how this thing fits in there. I may need to cut it off, may not. Kind of rocking. I'm going to chip that end off. Okay. So that's pretty good. Get it back here where it's even. Chip this front part off. That off. You don't really need it all. Okay, now put it back. It's where your rubber mallet or kind of can put some chat underneath. You can see it's still moving, so I'm going to throw some chat from back here down. See if it's still sliding a little. A lot of times, really kind of going to need to backfill it with chat. Okay, that's pretty solid. Throw some chat in here, it'll kind of tighten up. I'm stealing chat and sand from the other walkway because it's all going to get torn up for concrete. So this is going to go on top. So I'm going to backfill this with chat. I'll get some more. It's kind of high over here, so I'm going to pull a little bit of that in. Like I said, get it to where it's up with here. Okay. So now this should be all level going back, so I'll get some more chat, throw it back there. So you can see, if I tip it just a hair, it'll get even here, even back here, but it still wobbles a little. So that's where you come in with the chat, and you little chips of rock, you know, little pieces like that, and you just start stuffing it in there, throwing that chat in there, coming on the side, it wobbles. Stuffing that underneath there, you can lift it up and shove it. You're just packing it in there until it doesn't move, and then eventually water will kind of get under there a little bit. It's pretty good. Throw some over here and some back here. And stick rocks back there too if it's really a gap. Feel a big gap, just grab a rock and shove it back underneath there. There you go. Throw some more chat. Chat's your friend. It's gonna get in there and solidify. Like I said. It'll come in with the sand too, but you want it so it's not moving before you put that sand in there. I try to leave about a 1/4 inch for the sand. Like I said, that's still moving. Probably need something up in here. There we go. Like I said, then just start. All right, let's come over here to the bone pile, and I'll kind of give you the quick and dirty on how to, different ways you can chip and cut the stone. If you just got to take off a little edge, then you're really just going to want to take your mason hammer and then work the edge here. See how I kind of rounded that? Let's say I need to knock that corner off. There you go. You want to hold it in your hand or hold it loose so it kind of gives, and it'll kind of shape that rock, help you fit that puzzle piece in there. The next one is if you got, all right, so let's say you wanted to put this stone here and part of it was sticking over, like you needed to cut this off to make it go in that gap. You just take your grinder out, that diamond blade, it's like I said, it's going really fast. You want to wear all the protective, make sure it's tight, and then you're simply just going to cut it right along that edge. And it's not going to cut it all the way through, it'll cut it most of the way through. Then you simply take your hammer and you're just gonna, and you can see you got a nice pretty clean cut, and then you just drop it back in there and it's ready to be laid. So it can make it fast. If you don't like the cut, you can kind of, you can kind of chip it a little bit, rough up that edge so it doesn't look like you cut it with a grinder. So once you get your stones laid, you're going to come back and you're going to clean out with a screwdriver and a vacuum and get these gaps all nice and cleaned out, and then come in and brush in your polymer sand, get it cleaned up, and once it's kind of exactly where you want it, then just gently wet it down and it'll harden and you won't have to do it again. It's kind of a cry once type thing. You'll still get weeds a little bit, but not as much, and just spray them with a little bit of Roundup or herbicide and they'll be gone. Anyway, that's it. That's all you need to know basically to put in a flagstone patio. So here's the stones we took out, and then here's the walkway. Use that big rock coming up. Still got to put the polymer sand in it. Still got to get rid of those rocks. But turned out pretty good. Thanks for watching.